Aries Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and welcome to your now timeless work, career, vocation read being recorded in January 2022. I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, available on Kindle, now on Patreon. Go check it out. We're doing a lot of cool stuff over there because I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons. But you can call me Mal. Hey. There is a bunch of videos in the description box, suggested videos, one of which will really help understand work, career, vocation as seen through a video by Carolyn Myss, MYSS, medical intuitive, spiritual teacher, one of my favorites, talking about the 3 levels of power. So I don't have to go into it every single video. That's why it's down there. But to say we are looking at your life purpose in 3 levels of power. Here's one way of saying it: eau de toilette, cologne, perfume. All the same scent. Perfume is full force. Cologne's cut with alcohol. Eau de toilette is water, right? Toilet water. But not that kind. Work, what you do to survive, your career, your internal hunger and thirst, your creativity, and your vocation, your spiritual calling. And there are chakras involved. We're only doing 12 cards. There isn't an extended for this, but consider all of these work, career, vocation readings timeless at this point because they're so archetypal that they speak to bringing your work, career, your life purpose together regardless of when you watch it. And I'm not going to retroactively go back through all the other videos and write the word timeless in the in the description, in the title, but I am going to put, I am going to make sure they're all in the timeless reads as well. So it's going to take a while to do, but I'm a Virgo and I'm down for it. So it's a general read. You know the story. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs because certainly your sun sign might be more about your work and your moon sign more about your career or your vocation, right? So take that as it rolls. Other than that, both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can remember. Check out the description box. I just redid it. It's good. Please take a nice deep breath. Because I love doing these. I love doing these for clients as well. So here we go. As I call upon the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters, and the higher selves of all involved for the Aries Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, watching this video, receiving this reading, using the Caroline Myss archetype cards, 3 levels of power, who I learned it from. Please, what is the 8th chakra dynamic for these 3 levels of power for the Aries watching this? First, their work. In this time, let's read work, career, right? That internal world, right? That passion, that hunger, that thirst, that creativity, and their vocation. Now, you can also say this is survival intuition, this is creative intuition, this is visionary intuition, lower 3 chakras, heart, third eye, crown, and 8th chakra. Let's see who you got. These are in the title. And these, well, all archetypes are neutral, so even if they sound really magnificent, the toxic is still the toxic, the lead is still the lead, the shadow is still the shadow, and vice versa. As terrifying as one might sound, as brilliant as its light is. So we've got a hedonist in your work, visionary in your career, and king in your vocation. So there are 9 different families of archetypes. Hedonist is the wild card. Why wouldn't it? Wild card family archetype. Visionary, the creative family archetype. You have it in the creative intuition zone, so to speak. And the king, masculine family archetype. There's also a feminine family archetype. This is not about biological gender. So if you look at it all literally, you often miss the power there. And this is the soul powers you're developing in your work, career, vocation, which is really what your life path is about and your life purpose. Let's look at the lower 3 chakras here, the literal level of power, the first level of power. the physical world, the lower 3 chakra dominant, the 8th chakra hovering over all of that, the shadow of the hedonist, pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. Well, we didn't have cell phones back in the 80s and the 90s, not with cameras on them at least, not yet. So there's no proof of that. The light attribute inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. You can have an archetype, a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I have the hedonist as a lifetime archetype. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Little Laurie Anderson there for you. So, I mean, you want to be enjoying your work, and maybe you've enjoyed what you do in the world to the detriment of others, or maybe at the risk of your own health. We've got other we got other cards. We'll clarify that. Hovering over your career, so to speak. Heart, third eye, crown stuff, right? The stuff you hunger and yearn for creatively. Satisfying, right? A career. So how many artists, let's just say artists, work in food service or retail or, whatever, right? Food delivery service now with all the different door dashing and all of that going on. So this is the stuff that's really wanting to satisfy you, and I understand with a visionary. But the shadow attribute, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable, which happens every day. Somebody has a vision and they're like, yeah, but I don't know if the market will do, so they water it down. Understandable. This is all a journey from lead to gold, right? Shadow to light. And very third eye, right? Like these are very lower 3 chakras. The hedonist is very heart, third eye, crown. The light attribute, capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, which sucks sometimes, I'll give you that. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. Well, can I monetize it, right? So, interesting. Throat chakra choices in there with the third eye. But this I love. In your vocation, the king, again, female, gender, whatever. You're a soul that incarnated into a body that has a genetic patterning that assigns a gender, but you do you. That's totally where I stand on that, and will always stand on that. The shadow attribute of the king is a masculine family archetype, but the spiritual king, the mystical king, this is spiritual power we're talking about here. The shadow attribute, excessive feelings of entitlement. Entitlement is one of the 7 deadly sins, according to Carolyn Myss in her book, Defy Gravity, life changer for me, that book, Grace and all of that. Rulership without restraint. I think we know what that vibe feels like in the world, but in the 8th chakra, that can cause trouble in terms of patriarchal systems that you might have been raised with, about who and what God is. God the Father, God the King. Now, you do you. Everybody's going to take their lenses to experience the divines. I just suggest you allow them to evolve as you do, because the light aspect of this is so magnificent. I would marry somebody with a golden alchemized king archetype. I really would. Enlightened, benevolent leadership benefiting those in your charge. Right? Like a true king. Like the land and the king are one. Like Arthur. We could go on. I'm getting, okay, Lord of the Rings flashbacks. God. He was gorge. Anyway, let's just keep moving on here. This is pretty cool. So it's like spiritual kingship, creative, visionary work. And a hedonist in your work. What you doing? You want OnlyFans? No, not with those 3, I would think. All right. Heart, third eye, crown dynamic, the internal for these 3, because what's going on inside of you, of course, affects your work career and your vocations. Let's see what's going on in the internal, the feminine. Heart, third eye, crown dynamic. Breathe. Tingle, 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 as we call upon my goddesses of fire. The sign of Aries, powers of the south, please. 3 daughters of the moon tarot. Heart, third eye, crown. What's going on for this Aries collective? Sun, moon, rising, Venus, sun, watching this video, receiving this reading. They've got the hedonist, in their work. What's going on? Heart, third eye crown. Okay, the Nine of Flames, the Nine of Wands, the Wanderer. We'll get there. That's good. That's good. It's good. I mean, Daughters of the Moon, the artwork is different. The vibe is different, but we'll talk about that. It might be a little defensive, like the traditional Rider-Waite Nine of Flames. What's going on in the career here? Heart, third eye crown, because this is Heart, third eye crown dominance, the career. And we have the Phoenix card, the Death card, most likely rising from ashes rather than going to, right? The Death card, it's about transformation. It's not about literal death. It's not about internal death. But you might be going through the fires of transformation, the alchemy itself, right? Alchemy needs heat, time, and pressure. I think we're getting that on planet Earth. Symbolically and literally. Please, my goddesses, that king archetype there in their 8th chakra placement of vocation, right? Their spiritual power, their mystical power with the king there. What's the Heart, third eye crown? How is that? How does that level of power come into play here? All right, keeping in mind that the Aries card in the tarot is the King of Wands, and we've got Wands on the table here, and a very strong fire element in that Phoenix card there, rising from the ashes. So what do you got for the Aries there? Okay, this is important. Remember what I said about patriarchal systems? I mean, pick your honor code. You do you spiritually. I'm not talking about anybody's religion necessarily. But in terms of your spiritual calling, you've got the Four of Blades, the Four of Swords, which certainly is a card of rest and mental healing. But in this deck, that keyword written on the bottom there is deception. That can be our own illusions. That can be okay, so let's put it this way. Sometimes we can have ingrained beliefs about what our life purpose is, but understand there's always a higher truth. And those purposes, like my calling when I was 23, is very different now that I'm 53. Yes, I know, I don't look at thanks. When I was 23, I was teaching angel stuff all around, right? It was absolutely in the kick. I think I was living in Charlottesville, Virginia, working for Solara and the 1111 and all that. Yeah, that's how long I've been doing this shit, right? And certainly I learned a lot, more than I realized at the time, obviously. But now my gig is different. Like, there's always a higher truth. So maybe take a look at the idea of the divine as king and your role as a divine king in terms of your calling. Like, are you in charge of people? Then are you the king? Because we're so afraid of the toxic side of it that we don't always claim the light when that might already be there. All right. Kind of digging it. Now, just to go back real quick, there might be a little defensiveness here, but there's also, because the word on it is the wanderer, there might be some wanderlust. You might be like, I'm not enjoying this as much as I want to, or I am going to, inside of myself, use my power of fire, those wands, and make choices that really, really, really feel good, because inspiring creative energy, right? Your creative energy has the visionary here, and embracing the good things in life and celebrating the beauty in yourself. That's pretty rock and roll. Oh, the garbage is here. It snuck up this time. No boop boops. Well, it doesn't seem to be making too much noise. I don't know. Maybe they put silencers on it. Is that a thing? Bam. I didn't have to do a magic clap. And I don't think it's going to make the boop boop backup noise. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. Boop boop backup noise. Yeah, no, it's gone. Good. That was great. That was very seamless, except I had fun with it. With the visionary and the... come on, this is the Crucible, not the Arthur Miller play. But certainly the rising from the ashes within yourself creatively. Like I said, there's a dominant element of fire here on the table, even though this is a major arcana card, a spirit card. You might be going through those flames of transformation in your career inside of you about what your vision is, as opposed to maybe what it was. You've leveled up, or you're in the process of doing that. So like I said, right, the very first thing on here, the light side, capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. That sucks. That sucks. It's like, but can't you see it? And you try and put it into words and if it's your vision, it's your vision. Maybe it'll catch on, maybe it won't. But it's transforming you as a result. That's great. That's great. Not easily won. Heart, third eye, crown, but really, really good. And the king with this 4 blades, I would seriously recommend like meditation. Duh. Right? Of course, I'm going to recommend that. But maybe something that's more third eye. For example, I highly recommend the work of Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. All of his books. There's 10 billion videos of him about being the silent witness, because his teachings, and I'm right there with him, the silent witness of the thoughts is the divine within all of us. Unity, all that. And very 8th chakra. If you can get up to the 8th chakra, hover up there. In terms of your beliefs, I would think about what it is your calling is. Now, not that you're wrong, but maybe there is a larger scope here of what it is that you're actually doing with your creative. I mean, literally, you've got in your visionary intuition thing, you've got the visionary, but with the death card, with the phoenix. That can be a bit much. So you might be going through, I wouldn't go so far as to say dark night of the soul, but in terms of your calling, kind of seeing maybe some lenses that you needed at the time, maybe 20 years ago, and now saying, oh my God, that's not a lens anymore, it's a blindfold. Like, I can't see past it. It's a good way to say that, actually. And who doesn't go through that, right? It's like, don't take it personally. Every day is a winding road. We get a little bit closer. Breathe. Lower 3 chakras, the mythic tarot, as I call upon my gods of fire. The sign of Aries. Powers of the south. Please, lower 3 chakras, outside looking in at them on the inside, looking out at something, maybe some of that, all of that. For the Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun. Watching this video, receiving this reading, this hedonist with the wanderer can also be like, you want to get out on the road. Like, I want to get out on the road. I want to, like that wanderlust. It's like, I want to travel. It would totally be that. So please, show us what's going on here, work, career, vocation. They said in their work, they've got the hedonist, 9 of flames on the inner lower 3 chakras. In the lower 3 chakra section here, you got the hermit. Yeah, right? So that would make sense with the wanderlust. Look where we are on planet Earth. I thought by this time, well, what was it, last year, I thought by this time, actually 2 years ago, right, pandemic, I'm talking about the pandemic, right, I thought, like, 2021, I was going to be in my car and, like, driving just all over, right, I've made so many friends and people who want me to come and teach and do readings and stuff, but it's not like that. So to really celebrate yourself where you are here in your work, I think, is key, because the hermit certainly speaks of introspection, if anything, and also getting to higher ground, seeing it from a higher place. That's why I think this 8th chakra, I can usually feel a dominant level of the 3 levels, and it does feel like that king one is pretty key, because you shift that, everything else is going to eventually come into play, or that is already shifting, and that's why that death card is in the interim between the spiritual, mystical, and the physical. Breathe. All right, my gods, visionary and their visionary intuition, right? Their career, heart, third eye, crown with the death card on the inner. What's going on there on the outer? The high priestess. Well, aren't you just the major arcana sign today so far? You're only the first of the series. I'm doing a tarot party later today. Happy hour tarot party. Reach out if you want one. Doing it on Zoom. High priestess, you're not talking about this. You're not sharing this. This is your own intuitive process. You're keeping your secrets. You're feeling deeper knowledge. This is Persephone, but Persephone in her transition, well, she's maiden of spring, goddess of spring, the summer lady, because there's a maturation there, and then for half the year she goes underground and becomes the queen of the underworld, and we love her for that. So lots of secret knowledge about what? Death and rebirth. She's goddess of spring and queen of the underworld. So, you know, you're in your own spiritual process here for sure, but your creativity is what's fueling it. You're going through an upgrade, but you might be going through a harder part of it. And I would certainly say with the High Priestess, looking at what's going on in your 8th chakra there, that there is a higher truth being revealed to you that you may not tell anybody about. At least not right away. Not with the Hermit there, right? Absolutely not. So please, my gods of fire, sign of Aries, powers of the South, king in the 8th chakra, and that 4 of Blades, which certainly, yes, can be about mental rest, you know, mental healing, and may that be so. But it's the third eye can have so much stuff covering it up when it comes to the divine. And with the king archetype, it's just, I live in the United States, and the United States doesn't do real well. It's not really comfortable with the king archetype. I'll leave that there. So what do you got for the Aries here? Lower 3 chakras. The outside looking in, inside looking at, in their vocation, their spiritual calling that really, with a visionary and a hedonist, is guiding them forward. 8 of Pentacles, hard worker. Hard worker, you are in a place where your work career and your vocation are going through a phase of work, both inner and outer, both spiritual, and it may not seem so very, very active if you're working from home like I am. I don't leave the house. My New Year's resolution was to leave the house less often this year than last year, and I don't leave the house that often. Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm good until this shit passes. I'm fine. I'm vaxxed. I'm good. But no, we have Zoom and Facebook Messenger and Instagram. We can do all sorts of fun shit now. And I'm lucky to have it that way. And believe me, I'm having a good time, so I can relate to this reading. But I mean just the predominance of major arcana cards here. Right? And not just any major arcana cards. The Hermit, the High Priestess, and the Death card. Those are all the tarot that are hitting the table for this reading. So half. You got, yeah, out of 6 cards, tarot, half of them. And, yeah, let's keep going. Last 3 cards down. The Healing Mantra deck, right? To give you something to work with these in your work career and a vocation, 1 each, because certain mantras will work better for the outside world, some for the inside world, and 1, of course, to line it all up. Let's see what hits the table. I'm going to read it from the bookie book because we're only doing 12 cards in this spread. Please take a nice deep breath. And I was going to say this in the intro, before these cards hit the table, sorry, I kind of plugged myself here, excuse me, Malpod, my podcast, been working on it. I keep forgetting to mention it here. It's not in the description box, but it's on my channel. They're the classes that I do on Facebook online. I edit it, I take out people's names, and I turned it into a podcast. Check it out. Every other Wednesday right now, but as I get more of them done, it might go weekly. We'll see. See? There, you know? You get the visionary thing, and it's now putting it into form, and I have to say, I'm enjoying it a lot, every step of the way, pretty much. So let's do this. The Ascended Masters. The Ascended Masters, breathe. As I call upon the Ascended Masters of Life Purpose through the lenses of work, career, and vocation, 3 levels of power for the Aries Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading for their work. We've got the Hedonist in the 8th, the Wanderer, 9 of Flames on the inner, which can also be that defensive stance internally about sharing their creativity, particularly with the Hermit on the outer. In a general read, that would make sense. What's the perfect healing mantra for that, please? That's 2 cards. Please. This is the one. Oh, growing beyond guilt. It couldn't have happened any other way. For the visionary in their career here, visionary in the 8th, Death card on the inner, High Priestess on the outer. Oh no, they're going through it and they ain't telling nobody. tuning in to their intuition, but silent on the outside. What's going on here? Their perfect healing mantra. Acknowledging apprehension. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. And I put my editorial addition to that is for now, right? Because a lot happens in a day. Things are quick. We're in a celestial speed up. So, saith the Course in Miracles, and I am in full agreement. Have been for a while. The king, please, my ascended masters. Got the king archetype in their vocation, which is tricky. I won't say it's problematic automatically problematic. But with that Four of Swords, that's really going to depend on who's watching this. Like, they can go into meditation, mental rest, stillness. I keep getting the face of Eckhart Tolle in my third eye here. To be that silent witness, something going on about a patriarchal structure that we really wanted, and it's healthy, right? In its healthiest form. And with that Eight of Pentacles, it is absolutely influencing their work. So this could be somebody whose calling is very much a part of their work, but they're going through a big transformation here. Couldn't happen any other way. They're feeling some apprehension here, but it's got to feel good to them. It's got to feel good to them. So please, what is the perfect healing mantra to help the Aries here? Last card down in this timeless work, career, vocation read. Embracing worthiness. I feel worthiness filling every cell in my body, and it feels amazing. Totally makes sense. So I'm sorry, if you were sold that you're not good enough by some patriarchal, socio-political, religio, whatever, just in the air, particularly if you're female. I'm gonna say, right? You know, that's changing big time now, if you haven't noticed. I'm a feminist. I was raised by a feminist. You bet I'm a fucking feminist. Then certainly this could speak to you in a whole different way, particularly as that high priestess, though. And remember, a high priest or high priestess is a vessel through which the divine works. And that's what it looks like is on the table here, even if you don't identify as a high priest or whatever, high priestess. So growing beyond guilt, right? Hedonist. Nine of Flames on the inner, the Hermit on the outer. It couldn't have happened any other way. When you grow beyond guilt, there is a heartfelt acceptance that any sequence of events unfolds in a perfect flow that is organized and expressed by the universe. You didn't fuck it up. You didn't. It was written. It was written before you incarnated into this body. Your body, not mine, obviously. This takes the pressure of control off your shoulders so you can enjoy the way in which life has come to be. I don't know, like hedonist? Maybe, just saying. Since everything is destined to change and can only change you for the better, from the soul's perspective, the personality and the ego may not agree with that in the moment. Growing beyond guilt enables you to see how exquisitely the gift of life unfolds. This mantra is ideal for releasing the past, unhooking from karmic patterns, the shadow of the hedonist, right? And forgiving yourself, growing beyond guilt. That's wonderful. And nobody needs to know you're going through it. Double whammy of that big time. Double whammy, major arcana, both really not necessarily chatty tarot cards, the Hermit and the High Priestess. The chatty High Priestess. It sounds like a Agatha Christie novel. Let's look at your center lane here. Like we said, you got the Visionary in the 8th. Perfect for visionary intuition. Death on the inner, High Priestess on the outer. Acknowledging apprehension. This is so good. I use this all the time. I've done it so many times now that the moment I start feeling apprehension, it's instantly acknowledged and I say the mantra. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. Truth. If I'm unsure, if I'm even like, me, it's always a no. At least for now, check back later. The oracle is out. Long live Jambi. I don't know. When apprehension is acknowledged, you become aware of a constant back and forth between polarities. That's apprehension. As this back and forth movement occurs, it can feel nearly impossible to make decisive, empowering choices. Third chakra, third chakra, third chakra. You're going through a phoenix moment here. As you acknowledge any apprehension, recognize that either it's your heart trying to warn you of an old choice or a pattern you're about to repeat, growing beyond guilt couldn't happen any other way. Or it's a sense of unworthiness. Embracing worthiness can totally be both. It probably is. A sense of unworthiness that makes you unsure about how to step onto the biggest stage you dream of commanding. I'm just going to say there's an Aries that I know watches my channel and is a dear friend of mine who just put out a book called Tarot Rituals. And Nancy Antonucci, and she's on my channel. We are blessed to have her do stuff here on the channel when she's feeling it. Her book is, I think, just come out or coming out, so check her out. Because she is stepping onto a bigger stage with the new launch of her new book. The power of discernment bubbles closer to the surface the more often your apprehensions are acknowledged, and it is needed to determine which of these two options is true. And Nancy, if you're wearing this, if you're allowed to, put a link in the comment section for your stuff. You know you're always welcome to anyway. This mantra is ideal for resolving indecisiveness, balancing impulsive behaviors, right? Because apprehensive and you just do something out of impulse instead of really tuning in, and trusting your instincts. I think that's rock and roll. I think that's right on as a visionary. It's okay to feel the apprehension. Just don't make any choices, because if it's a yes, nothing can stop you. If you're unsure, for now it's a no. Nanette. Let's go on. The king here in your vocation, I do feel like this is where the leverage is here. Certainly, I would say secondary by the visionary, that lane that we've got going on here. The king in the 8th, 4 swords, we've talked about it. Not going to go there again yet. Maybe not again. But there's this work. You better work. Embracing your worthiness, and I call this the Thorgy Thor mantra. If you're not familiar, I'm so sorry I'm not explaining it right now. Embracing worthiness. I feel worthiness filling every cell of my body, and it feels amazing. When worthiness dawns, you know that life has a bigger plan in store. Now, feel that. Let's go back, right? When worthiness dawns, like the sun dawns, it was there all along, but suddenly you see it, you know that life has a bigger plan in store. It does. You are able to navigate the highs and lows of each moment, aware of a greater cosmic force at play. This is all about navigating, which you're also doing, acknowledging apprehension. That's pretty cool. Worthiness grants you permission to honor all that you are and moves you in the direction that fulfills your deepest passions, which is your creativity here with that visionary. This mantra is ideal for feeling more joy, working through creative blocks, particularly if there is a spiritual, mystical wound in the healing, and helping the body heal. Just remember, you were a spirit before you were ever a body. No, talking starseed stuff, but I guess that too. Let me put this together for you in a blessing, as you know I do love to do. Isn't that right? I got Joan Jett. Do you dig the t-shirt? I cut it so I look like she's talking about my head, but I don't think she was in Talking Heads. David Byrne, please take a nice deep breath. Having fun with you, Aries. I'm sorry. Not sorry. As I call upon the pantheons of the divine to please bless the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign watching this video, receiving this reading with all that they need in their work, career, and vocation to fulfill their life purpose and do what they came here to do. That in their work they can inspire their creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrating the beauty in themselves on this wanderer journey, that wanderlust that they have, but maybe isolated with the hermit on the outer, and maybe a bit defensive about that, but they are growing beyond guilt in their work, that it couldn't have happened any other way. It was what was written into the quantum timeline they're in at the moment, and it's not their fault, and kind of not the fault of other people's either. It's all scripted. Because in their vocation, that their creative visionary power, their capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, and that they really embrace that willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain or maybe what other people think, while they are going through this spiritual phoenix transformation, heart, third eye crown, and not really talking much about it on the outer, but definitely experiencing strong intuition, guidance, and grace from the divine as they acknowledge their apprehension, because when it's a yes, nothing can stop them. But if they're even slightly unsure, it's always a no for now. It's not a pass-fail, it's a litmus test. That in their vocation with this incredibly powerful king archetype, that they experience their enlightened, benevolent leadership benefiting those in their charge, resting the mind, healing the mind, looking at possible deceptions, looking at things differently as they put in the work, both inner and outer here with that death card, as well as that 9 of Flames Wanderlust, embracing their worthiness, because they are worthy of worthiness filling every cell in their bodies. So it feels amazing, and they feel amazing, and they bring that divine amazing, their life purpose, into full force and full form in their work, career, vocation, as a blessing to them, as a blessing to everyone who crosses their path. And honestly, we need more of them on the planet. An inspired leader, visionary, who's trying to have a good time and enjoy the good things in life for their well-being and for the well-being of all. So motivating. So it is. That's a lovely read. A lot of major arcana, probably not easy, but try and remember this. Simple need not imply easy. Oh, I just have to grow beyond guilt, acknowledge apprehension, and embrace worthiness. Oh, if it couldn't have happened any other way. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no, and I feel worthiness filling every cell of my body, and it feels amazing. Just say it a little bit every day, right? Simple, not easy, particularly with the transformations going on here. So did you like it? Like the reading? Help the other Aries find it. You want more of me? Please subscribe here on YouTube, or if you'd like, come visit on Le Patreon. Having so much fun over there, as you can probably tell. My tone has changed, my vibe has changed, my balance has changed in a really good way since moving over to Patreon, and I stream there every day. I do astrological lunar updates every day. What's going on in the moon today? For my humans, heroes, immortals, gods, goddesses, and witches over there, loving it big time. And by all means, get ready for the next Malpod. There are already 2 of them out. Third one comes out soon, every other Wednesday until I make more. Or if you want to be part of them, come take one of the Facebook classes. Links in the description box. Wishing you all the very best in your work, career, and vocation. My beloved Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Hang back, do you, I love you, hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.